Mode 1 is a way for men to approach women, which was created by Alan Roger Curry. Now, this approach is not your normal approach. When I heard about it, I had to do research into this because I thought it was too crazy and that it wouldn't work. But the more research I did, the more it actually made sense. So I'm going to break it down in how I see Mode 1. So the thing I like about Mode 1, or what I think is the amazing characteristics of this approach, is it's not a script, it's a framework, okay? It's direct. You're telling someone what you want. You're not beating around the bush. You're just being straightforward and honest, which is a good thing to bring to the table. Number 3 is, and this is my opinion, it builds more confidence and self-assurance. And I'll get into that later. And the cool aspect of Mode 1 is there's basically 3 individual modes in Mode 1, which we'll talk about. Okay, so I have to define what Mode 1 actually is, or everyone's going to be like, you know, I've heard about Mode 1 and people say it's this, people say what's that. So I took the definition off the person who actually wrote it, and I simplified it, obviously, because simple is easier. So there's 3 types. There's Mode 1 Hardcore, we'll put on this side, Mode 1, and Mode 1.5. So over here is basically super crazy, like you're going straight into it. You're going like almost like a suicide mission, but like if it works out, you're winning big. To a certain extent, like it depends on how you want to live your life. But like that's how he kind of defines it. Mode 1 is just your like standard, like how he thinks you should really kind of approach it, or at least how he personally chooses to approach it. And Mode 1.5, which is over here, is the more slow, safer way, PG. So over here we got PG. Over here we got PG, which kind of goes into R18, potentially R21. And over here we've got like R21, I don't even know how high it goes up to, okay? So basically, end of a spectrum, PG. And all the way across here, which is R18, R21, crazy stuff. So now that you can see that there's 3 different types, there's Hardcore, Mode 1, and Mode 1.5. We'll get into what each one means. Okay, so the next one is the original Mode 1. The original Mode 1 is when you're talking to a woman and no longer than 5 minutes, you say your intentions and what you're looking for. You also say that you're physically attracted to them and the other side of things, the XYZ part of things. So you're doing it more smooth. It's not so forward. You've got that 4 minutes, 3 minutes, you've got that conversation there. And then you start to slip in you're going from PG to R-rated stuff, you know, going to the R18, maybe segueing up to the higher like R21 stuff. But the main thing is you are taking it slower. You have more time to read the conversation to see where it's going. You have more time to screen. And then you finally drop it. But you're being direct. You're not beating around the bush. You're still saying what you want. And that's why it's called a direct approach. So Mode 1 is not nearly as high risk as, let's just say, Mode 1, what was it called? Mode 1 Hardcore. Mode 1's more relaxed. You're still basically saying the same stuff, but not nearly as explicitly, and you're just easing into it. Where Mode 1 Hardcore, you're just going for the kill. Now, personally, you have to look at what one suits yourself, because I personally am not a Mode 1 Hardcore. I'm not a Mode 1 even, really. I'm more a Mode 1.5. And that's what we'll talk about now. Okay, so mode 1.5. What is this? So just like mode 2, mode 1 is you have a conversation for 5 minutes, you say your intentions, and you say potentially XYZ, but you're not going over anything more than PG. So you're basically saying, hey, I find you attractive and I'm looking for someone that I can have a long-term relationship with, and I find you very, aesthetically appealing, and I wonder if you wanted to share my company, right? Not too hard, but it's non-explicit, and I like 1.5 because it's a lot more clean from my perspective. It's a lot less sexualized. It's more looking for like a long term or something more viable, and that's what I'm personally looking for, rather than, let's just say, like a one night stand or something like that. And I'm not here to critique or tell people what to do, but I'm just here to say that we all have different things that we're looking for, and mode 1.5 resonates with me. So mode 1 hardcore might resonate with you. That's completely your decision. But I'm saying that mode 1.5 is what I personally like the most, because I feel like it gets the direct message across, but it does it in a nice, appropriate way, which is more I would say it's looking more for a long-term romantic relationship rather than a short-term one night stand or having friends with benefit type of relationship. And that's personally what I'm looking for, so that's why I like 1.5, but also we had to address the other ones as well. Okay, so I'm going to be quick and talk about the other modes that we have here. So mode 2 is when you approach someone, you're talking for like 10 to 15 minutes, and you're flattering, you got small talk, you got banter, whatever, and then you address the desire and the interest about being romantic or potentially XYZ. So this one here is indirect. You're more ambiguous, you're not really saying exactly what you want, and you're having way more small talk, all of that stuff. And this here is more like leading into like a long-term relationship, where like mode 1 hardcore is you're going for like not a long-term relationship, definitely how you approach it, and if it works then it's like it's probably not going to be a long-term thing, unless you agree on it or whatever. So that's how it works, mode 2. Mode 3 is when you don't address your true honest feelings or desires to a woman at all, and basically you like I would say that you self-induce yourself. It's self-induction. I don't know how to say this. You become self-induced into the friend zone. You literally choose to go in the friend zone, but you actually want to not be in the friend zone. And you do it to yourself because you don't tell her how you actually feel. So that's one of the ways mode 3 works. It's also about avoiding women and not talking to them and not approaching them. And it's also, this is the one that I don't like, mode 3, lying, misleading, manipulating emotionally and psychologically to get someone to date you or XYZ. Now, the reason I don't like this is someone will say, hey, look, I'm looking for a long-term relationship. I want to have a long-term relationship, blah, 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 blah. Because he knows that the girl will like that, and then break up and say, hey, I wasn't actually looking for a long-term relationship. I just wanted to do XYZ, right? So it's dishonest. I don't like it. Indirect manipulation, not good. Stay away from it. And then we got mode 4, where you approach a woman harshly, criticize them, and basically break their ego. This is basically it's very similar to mode 1, apart from instead of being really nice, flattering, smooth talk, you're going in just for the kill, treating them very mean, breaking their ego apart. And yeah, that's basically what you're doing, okay? So, you know all those different modes. Now I'm going to tell you why it's so important to be on mode 1, 1.5, mode 1, or mode 1 hardcore, whatever. So the important thing about this, and please don't forget it, is mode 1 is direct. You're not beating around the bush, you're saying exactly what you want, and you're not wasting her time, and you're not wasting your own time. The thing about mode 1 is if you can do mode 1, you can go back and do mode 2, right? Now what I mean by this is if you can do mode 1 and you can do it well, you can go down to mode 2 and have those long conversations if you see someone that you actually want a long-term relationship with, and you can do that well, okay? Whereas if you're in mode 2, you're normally in mode 2 and you don't step it up to mode 1, it means you're missing out on a lot of opportunities, okay? And the benefits of being on mode 1 is you become more confident and more self-assured. Now that is so important because that means that you are going to be able to have that confidence to bring into those conversations if you go into mode 2. Whew, oh my goodness me. Lost the energy there. But you're going to have more confidence at mode 1 stepping down to mode 2 than probably if you're on mode 2. So you're better off to have a lot more tools under your belt on mode 1 than to be on mode 2 and telling everyone, hey, this is what you're meant to do. So a lot of mode 2 people, they are called the blue pill people, because they don't want to listen to this other advice. And I'm not critiquing mode 2, because I think mode 2 is where you probably find these long-term relationships that will work out, okay? So mode 2 is not bad, okay? I'm not critiquing that, but I'm saying if you have mode 1 under your belt, you're probably going to have more chance getting success in mode 2 if you do utilize mode 2. So that's just my opinion. Take it or leave it, or tell me what you think. But I really do think mode 1 has very good utility, and it is amazing for becoming more alpha. If you're a beta male, or you're a beta male with alpha characteristics, and you want to step up and have more confidence in yourself, look, if you're on mode 1, you're gonna have a lot more confidence because you literally know you can get rejected, and you're probably gonna get rejected, and you're gonna, instead of beating around the bush and basically having an insurance policy so if it doesn't work you don't look like you've been shamed, mode 1 you basically can walk in there, be like, hey, this is what I want, do you want to reciprocate? She can say no, and you can say, okay, sweet, have a nice day, and it doesn't affect you. Where mode 2 people can be, I'm not saying specifically, can be more, scared and insecure, and they want like a way out. Where direct, mode 1, and indirect, the difference is this is yes, no. This here is like, I don't know what could happen. We could maybe do this, or maybe another time, or maybe whatever. So direct versus indirect. Direct's a lot better. It's a lot better. But sometimes you need to utilize mode 2, like depending on what you're looking for. But mode 1 still has so much to offer, and you're better off to sit on mode 1 and jump down to mode 2 than to be sitting on mode 2. At least that's my opinion. And the last and final thing that I'll talk about to just finish off this whole entire conversation is mode 1 is not a script, it's a framework. Now what I mean by that is you can have a frame of a house, okay? And the frame holds everything up. You are the builder. You decide if you build that house amazingly and it looks beautiful and everything looks great, or you decide if you don't build it properly and it looks terrible and it doesn't work. That's why some people can use this framework and get great results and other people can't. It depends on what you bring to the framework. That's where self-confidence and self-assurance is so important. If you're basically like, hey look, I am awesome, and not in a cocky way or ego way, but hey, like, I know my value, and if I get rejected, I get rejected. it's not going to break me, and it's not going to affect me. And that's why I was explaining it to a house, is because some people will present it so well and it will look nice, it will look beautiful, and their routine, they'll be able to keep it up looking great. Where other people will build a crap house, a house that isn't well built, and then when they start having storms, and when things start turning, when things start not working properly, and things start to backfire, they completely fall apart and abort the mission. Where people who know how to do this well can keep everything held together and just the whole entire time, start to end, perfect. Where other people might be able to start well, and then when they run into situations, everything falls apart like a house. So the framework is there to build off. It's not there to be a script. So you do your part and the framework will do the rest. So I hope you liked the video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I'm out. See you later.